The sixth meeting to order, and welcome those of you who are here, and appreciate you being here and participating. Good. I've asked Commissioner Martin to lead us in a prayer and Commissioner Thomas to lead us in the flag. You please stand.
All right, let us pray. Dear Lord, we just thank you so much for this day. We thank you for the rain we received today, dear Lord, and we thank you for this group that's come out this evening to participate and listen to this meeting. We ask, dear Lord, that you be with us as we go through this meeting, that we do business that is for Gilchrist County and for the citizens, and that would also be pleasing to you, dear Lord. We ask that you be with those families that have lost people in the area. Recently, it seems to be a whole lot of them, and we ask that you be with the families of those that have lost loved ones, dear Lord. Now, as we get into today's business, again, let us do what's right and pleasing to you. We also ask, dear Lord, that you bless this nation on its 250 year of celebrating, dear Lord, that went on this week. We also ask that you be with our firefighters, our policemen, and all those on the front line, dear Lord. We ask that you be with our leaders, not only in the state of Florida, but also in our nation's capital, dear Lord, that they would look for you for guidance in all the decisions that they make. Now be with us as we go through this day, and we just thank you again for the blessings you've given us. We ask all these things in your wonderful name, dear Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Address the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I wanted to mention Commissioner Tommy Langford is out of town and just called and said he would not be able to make it. And again, we're thankful that y'all are here and welcome your participation. As far as the agenda, are there any agenda changes?
I have none, Mr. Chairman.
None, Mr. Chairman. None
Okay.
today.
We have a motion to
I
approve.
move to approve the agenda.
Okay. Got a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Everybody had the opportunity to look at the consent agenda. Any questions or comments related to it?
Motion to approve.
Okay, got a motion?
Second.
And a second to approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, just as a comment, the North Florida Professional Services on 138 is a final payment.
Okay, final payment for 138. Noted. Any others? Comments? Nope. All right, got a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, we come to the first spot on our agenda where if there's an item that you'd like, from the public, would like to come up and speak. If it's not on the agenda, we encourage you to wait to that item on the agenda if something there. But if it's not on the agenda, welcome you to come up and provide input or ask questions. Anybody want to come at this time? Not seeing anybody. Okay. So the next item is constitutional officers. And Miss Lisa, you want to come?
No, I'm going to talk about campus support again, and I'll just wait for number two.
Later on. Okay. We appreciate you being here. All right. We'll begin with County Administrator items and Mr. Crosby.
Mr. Chairman,
Chair,
we have a 4:05 time,
We do
so
have a 405.
Sorry about that.
that's James Moore audit presentation.
All right. Welcome. We look forward to your report.
Good afternoon. My name's Brendan McKittrick. I'm a partner with James Moore and Company. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. There is a PowerPoint presentation along with the financial statements. If you want to follow along, I recommend using the PowerPoint. It really summarizes what I want to talk about this afternoon. Before we do get into the PowerPoint, I did want to thank the Commission for the opportunity to perform the audit again this year. Also want to thank the clerk and his staff, as well as all the constitutional officers, really getting through the audit. We asked a lot of questions and a lot of requests, so I appreciate everything that they do to get here to this point. The second slide here is just with regards to our audit reports, and one thing I like to remind the Commission is that these financial statements are your financial statements or the county's. However, there are some audit reports that we include in here as a part of our process. The first report being the audit report in the front of your financial statements. This is where we express our opinion really over the reliability of the numbers that you're looking at. We do have what's called an unmodified opinion or a clean opinion. It's really kind of the best opinion we can provide over a set of financial statements. The second, sorry, you can stay on that side. The second report there, thank you, is the single audit report. So since the county did have grant expenditures exceeding a certain threshold, we're required to do some additional testing here. If there was any issues with regards to compliance or controls, we could communicate that to you all here. You can see there's no findings in that report. The third
No
report,
findings is a good thing.
yep,
Yes.
always a good thing. The third report, the internal control and compliance report. So as part of our process, we're required to understand internal controls with regards to financial reporting or accounting. There's another opportunity to provide any more findings, whether it be material weaknesses or areas of noncompliance. As you can see here, there's no items reported in that report. The fourth report, the Chapter 10 550 report, another required letter that we included as part of your financial statements that the Auditor General requests of us. There was no modifications in that report. You can see there is a section in there. If we had any other additional recommendations, we could include in there, but there was no items that were reported. And then finally, the examination report in the back, just indicating you're in compliance with specific state statutes. Thank you. The third slide here is, as I mentioned, we do work with the other constitutional officers, so we do issue 5 other sets of financial statements. This is really just a slide summarizing any sort of written comments we may have with regards to those reports. We did have one with regards to the sheriff's report really having to do with the material audit adjustment, but talking with their staff, I think we have a game plan for getting that corrected for next year's audit, so hopefully that'll be removed for next year. And then moving over to the numbers, just as a reminder, your general fund, that is your main operating fund for the county. This is showing the fund balance with regards to the various classifications here. And really want to highlight, if you want to move to the next slide, what we look at is from those numbers, we take the assigned and unassigned fund balance as a percentage of expenditures. And this year is just over 50%. You can see last year is at about 62%. And what we compare it to is the Government Finance Officers Association recommends a minimum of 2 months, or 16.7%. So think of that as a floor. You don't want to go below the floor. But then they also say, hey, consider other items as well. So we are in Florida. There are instances of hurricanes. So there may be carry forward balance needs for emergency purposes, or you may also have capital type projects on the horizon that you may have to use carry forward balance for. So again, just looking at the minimum recommendation as a floor, and then, again, obviously your balance is not below that recommended amount. Okay, next slide. And then some other highlights, your other governmental funds, approximately fund balance of about $9.5 million. And you do have a rather large liability with regards to the Florida retirement system. Really highlighted here, there's no impact from a budgetary perspective with regards to that liability, and the budgetary impact you all have are the required contributions that you're required to make every year, which you all budget for. And with that, I will stop and answer any questions you have.
Anybody got any questions for Brendan? Seems like, go
I'd
ahead.
like to make a comment saying thank you very much for going through, and I'd also like to thank our staff for doing such an excellent job. I've been on the commission now for 7 years, and I think 7 years in a row that I've been here, our audits have been just perfect, just exactly the way they need to be. So congratulations to our staff for doing a great job of keeping the books for us. We appreciate it. It makes our job a whole lot easier when y'all are doing everything perfect, and we thank you very much for that.
Yep.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you very much. We appreciate you
Thank you.
being here. Anything else that you want to add?
No, again, just appreciate the opportunity to work with you all, and you guys have a great team.
Thank you. Yep.
And I'd like to
Thank you.
Echo what
I'd like to thank Brendan and his staff. They're always very professional, asking good questions, but, always, like I say, very professional in how they do their business. So we appreciate all that you guys do. So.
Thanks, Tom.
Yep, thank you very much. And just to echo what Commissioner Martin had to say, Richard Romans, I understand, is a past auditor and brings that experience with all that he does, and also Ms. Tanya has lots of the same, and so we appreciate what you guys are doing. So, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Brad.
All right, no more time certain. We ready to move on, Mr. Crosby?
Yes, sir. My first item on my agenda is number 6 under general. We had a request to name County Road 232 from State Road 129 to Southwest 22nd Court, the Donald T. Bennett Memorial Highway. Some of his close friends and family had asked if the board would consider doing that in the honor of Mr. Bennett. I know a lot of people know Mr. Bennett. He's contributed a lot to this community. Was a very nice and friendly man as well. Probably everybody knows about him. I don't have to say he spoke for himself. So that was the request. So with the board's approval, we'd be happy to ask Mr. Lane to prepare the proper documentation and bring back to the board for a final passage.
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
I second that.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Yeah, I would just add to working with Mr. Bennett for 3 or 4 years, many years ago, learned a lot from him. He's definitely contributed more than probably most people understand, not only for the agriculture farmers in this area and buying crops, corn silage and all that related to that for feeding the cows, but he was, and still is, world renowned for Holstein genetics, and in the dairy industry, everybody pretty much knew him, and so he's had lots of impact, and so I think it's definitely fitting to name that area right there.
One other thing Mr. Bennett did, when I came here from Tampa, I moved from Tampa back to Gilchrist County. I'd been teaching up there a few years, and when I came back, the school had all brand new computers throughout the school. And I was amazed that a small community like Bell had such a nice computer system in the school. And everybody says it was because of donations that Mr. Bennett had made to bring our computer system up to where it needed to be for our school. And so he was definitely contributed to our county, to our schools, always was willing to help at the fairs with the dairy industry and promoting the dairy industry. A man that will be missed in the community, and certainly I would support this 100%.
Yeah, so Mr. Lang, you'll develop something and get back with us?
I will. I'll
Thank you.
prepare the paperwork that will be necessary.
All right.
Be heard
Thank you,
by
sir.
the board at the next meeting.
All right. Mr. Crosby?
Yes, sir. My next item today is a continued discussion about our solid waste facility. As you know, we've been working on a location to place our solid waste transfer station. Ms. Sharon Langford, I think citizen may have mentioned a piece of property to her. This piece of property is located, if you're traveling 129 north, turned east on 232 and just past the dairy, a lot of the barns and silage area that would be on the south side is a 22-acre parcel. Spoke to that gentleman. He is willing to sell that property there as well. So I guess at this point it'd just be, does the board want to consider trying to pursue that 22, I think it's like 22 and a half or 22.2 acres. The price,
22.2.
yes, sir. The price that he had given on it today, talking with him today, was $22,000 an acre.
Yeah, I know we have some folks out in the audience speaking to them before the meeting that want to comment, and they said they're in favor of this spot, not the other spot, I think. So, and I bet there'll be some people, I don't know for sure today, but are in favor of the other spot and not this spot. And that's the hard thing about this, is trying to find a spot that's away from people And I don't know if any of you that have been following this, but we've been working on it a while. We got a $4 million grant from the state to build a new facility. The one we're at is 30-plus years old, and it's not big enough to handle all that we have. 30 acres of, I don't know exactly the acreage, but most of it's the old landfill that was closed out, and it was closed out for environmental protection. And somebody suggested, well, let's just build on top of it. Well, I don't think we could do that from an environmental standpoint. It just wouldn't be stable enough. And so the other option was to tear down the animal control building, and there's an estimate of, whatever, it depends on the size, but up to $1 million to build a new one. The county extension office we just built was 1.6. And so it could be as big as that building for sure. And some folks will say, well, we just don't need animal control, but the state doesn't allow that. We've got statutes in place and there are certain circumstances where you want to control animals that are a nuisance. And so the other factor is that we're concerned about traffic going by the schools. And that's just continually increased. I forget now the exact number, but over the last 10 years, it's 200 and something percent
48
increase. And I forget the number of trips per day, but you got people going by there, but then you also got big trucks going by there. And so, some would say, well, that's not a concern. Nobody's got hurt yet, but at some point, that's a possibility. And so all that's been considered. We've looked at, 4 or 5 different pieces of property, and none of them are worked out because we got outbid, or the landowner, after they found out what it was, basically said, I'm not going to sell it to you for that because I don't want to upset my neighbors or whatever, whatever reason. And so we're looking at a place up on 340, out close to 47. And then this is another piece that has potential, and depending on your perspective, it may be better or worse. So that's kind of where we're at with it, and so I don't know what the board.
I know originally when we spoke to the man, he said he would take 20, but now, when I reckon today, he said 22. So, but I know, was it about 2 weeks ago when we spoke to him?
Darrell, we explained to the public too that this is not a dump site, a transfer station, different.
Right.
Like some people think it was going to be a regular dump.
No.
No, it would be, it'd be the most current requirements on handling, collecting solid waste. And it would be designed as best we could to make it where it doesn't affect, people around it. And it would have to be environmentally protective. And that, we got an engineering firm that will have to, even if we decide, let's look at this one, they're gonna have to do an evaluation, determine, and somebody would say, well, the dairy's there, but the dairy's been there a long time. And so the dairy probably have to do some different things maybe now. But solid waste, they hold it at a high level as far as environmental protection. So,
But what I wanted to let people know is that, as he was saying, it's not a dump. It's trash in, trash out. Nothing will be buried there. We're not gonna start taking one corner and start dumping stuff there. Everything goes in, goes out. Tires may be collected there, but they're shipped out. Metal may be collected there, but it's shipped out. All the trash is shipped out. Nothing stays on site. Nothing is there. I wouldn't say anything's there very long at all. I have not a transfer station, but I have a dump site less than a mile from my house. And other than on the days it's open, there may be a few cars that go by. It's nothing that I smell because it's trash in, trash out. It's not like they keep it there for weeks and weeks and let it rot and invite rodents and rats and stink in there. It's moved out pretty quick, and if you go to the site we currently have, it's over 30 years old, and it doesn't smell bad when you go by it, it's just old. It's got holes in the roofs and it needs to be redone, and we don't have the room to expand there that we've got, and that's why we're looking for a new spot. So no matter where it goes, I don't think the impact is gonna be felt by the neighbors who live near it. I just don't see it being a problem. If you're in the middle of 20 acres, it's, how much area do you think out of 20 acres will we need to put this station in? 5, 6, 7?
Well, it all depends on the size of the retention pond to answer that total. But as far as the buildings and all itself, yeah, around 5. But, you know, we never know what we're gonna have to do for a retention area for the buildings and the pavement. The retention would be for building water from the buildings and the pavement. Any water that is retained because of trash has to be placed in a tank and it has to be hauled off. So it's not runoff from washing down the floors or anything. That's referred to as leachate, and that leachate has to be captured.
And the trash is not open to leaching, it's trash is undercover.
Right.
As it comes in, so
That's
it's
why you
not
have-
like rainwater is gonna go through it and send contaminants out.
That's why you have to keep it undercover.
Right.
And
I know this location is more centrally located, the one that's right beside the dairy. You know,
What's
and-
around,
And you have the trees where, you know, you can leave a buffer.
What's surrounding that
here's
piece
what I'm
of
just fixing to
property?
tell you. What you're failing to realize is this right here is the main, one of two main entrances into the Gilchrist Farms horse track,
Right.
agriculture and horse center. All of this land right here is called Flying Harness Subdivision. Also the airstrip right here that runs. This is, used to be Pleasant Hill Baptist Church. It has a different name right now. But all these little squares that you're seeing are little 5 and 10 acre tracts that people own and have houses on, or they intend to have houses on. You'll see up here north of it, it's all cut up. To the northeast of it, it's all cut up. And all to the south of it is cut up. And then you get down here and you turn the corner and you go down to the horse track. Now, yeah, that might be, they might be able to contain any kind of leaching and stuff, and it's trash in and trash out, but it won't prevent the traffic and that sort of thing on 232 and turning or coming up and down this grade right here. So I think that when you advertise this, that you probably need to expect that you're going to get a lot of rebuttal from the public up here about the people that have nice places in the Gilchrist Farms, horse farm tract, or all the people that live just across the county grade up and down here. And I counted it today, and I think there are 12 or 14 houses in this area right here that's going to be right across the street from that 20 acre tract there if you choose to go with that tract.
Even though it's already next to a dairy?
Well, that's kind of compounding the issue, isn't it? They chose to come to a nuisance because the dairy was already there. Now you're bringing a nuisance to them if they're already there and you decide to build
who
next
says
to
one
them.
day this might, you know, that part might be part of the dairy, you know, you never know.
Well, the only thing I'd be concerned about is you might be creating some sort of Burt J. Harris deprivation of property rights by action from the board, by bringing something to them if their expectation is to build houses on some of these vacant properties and you setting up a transfer station right across the street from them. I just throw that out because I've just come from a lawyer's course that I'm going to tell you all about in a few minutes. But anyway, and right here, you're 1 mile to the Walksassie Flat. So I don't know if that makes any difference since you're not going to allow any leachings to go on the ground. But it was very important that y'all stated what you stated. We do have a landfill that there is trash buried at, and we've continually monitored it for years and years. No more landfills are going in where trash is going to have to be buried or monitored.
Right.
It's going out of the county, and it's only to load up the truck to haul it off. So,
Yeah.
okay?
That's why I don't think it's gonna be as big a problem, and if we can put it on as big a tracts as we've looked at, each tract we've looked at has been at least 20 acres, and you're gonna clean 5 acres out in the middle of it, you're gonna have enough trees around that I don't believe noise is gonna be a problem, or even sight is gonna be much of a problem. It's, you know, walk out to 20 acres and pick 5 acres out of the middle of it, and if it's got trees like that around, you're never gonna see it.
Well, the noise, already with the dairy, with those big buckets,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's already constant 24/7 out there in that area.
And just for
I've
the
been
public,
told.
I was pointing at that screen up here. This is what I'm talking about. This is 232 that comes this way. And then right here is the church, the Baptist church there. This is the road. Well, actually, that's the airstrip, but this is the entrance, one of two entrances that goes to the Gilchrist Farms, horse track and subdivision. These are the squares I'm speaking of that are subdivided off that people can build on, both north, northeast, and then flying harness down this way. Then when you get down here, it turns back in and goes down to the track. So that's what I was showing the board up there just a moment ago. There's the site, there's the dairy.
There you go, some of that, just down below that, there you go, that's right.
They own below it on the south side of 232, that's right. This is at the northeast corner.
Yeah, he's talking about, James is talking about they own those two empty vacant, right,
Oh,
down below
yeah,
it.
right here.
Yeah, that's already owned by the.
Yeah, that's already owned by the dairy.
Yeah.
There you go, all that.
Okay. Well, none of this is, though. This is all residential.
That's not, there ain't no building on none of that.
Right.
Flying harness.
And if we did it here, we could build it close to the dairy and close to where they own it on the back end also and leave it off that grade and off front.
Will we be required to put test wells there for nitrates and stuff?
No, because you're not dumping anything. No, sir.
Uh-huh.
No, sir. We're not required to do any type of water testing, not with a transfer station. Our permit for the DEP only allows for a transfer station, so we cannot store anything but a certain length of time.
I just didn't want to get next to a dairy and us have to put in nitrate wells and then be in competition with the dairy who's guilty and who ain't guilty.
No, we.
I know
we
this
won't
is
have
sandy
that.
soil out there
That's a
and
good
it's high and
question, but
dry.
no, sir, we wouldn't have that.
It's
Yeah.
sandy out there, sandy soil.
Talking to the group out, the citizens out here earlier before the meeting, part of the process is we identify a piece of property, then there's a public notice, time frame, and it's not like it's done today, basically. We're trying to get the word out. We're trying to be transparent. We want to get people's input. And at the end of the day, we're trying to make the best decision, not just for us today, but for our kids and our grandkids. And so sometimes those things are hard to figure out. And
Well, currently though, we're under an option to purchase that parcel at 340 and 47, just that we entered into, but we entered into it with a relatively minor deposit. And they agreed to that. You know what I'm saying? We took a lower number, I think it was $5,000
That's correct.
deposit. And that time is running, but what that does, it ties it up where they don't sell it to someone else, so you have that in the bank if you have to utilize that site. But during this period of time, it's called the feasibility period. There needs to be some environmental work done, there needs to be some surveying done, there needs to be some title work done, some of those sort of things. So you can't wait till the very end of the option period, or you'll lose the option money and lose the possibility of purchasing. So
So
I just
what-
wanted to point that out.
The other piece of property was how many acres?
30,
30, and it's how much per acre?
25.
25, and they want 22 for this?
Originally, he said 20, but
why don't we go ahead and get input from the public, and the board can think about it some more. So anybody want to come forward and make some comments and give us your input? We appreciate you being here and appreciate your input.
My name is Cindy Swartley Mannion, and I'm here with my brother Bruce Swartley and my cousins. This land, we own property that is just west of the property they're looking at on the north side of 340 and west of 47. Our parents bought that property back in the early 60s. And we've been going there as kids, and we've grown up. Parents have deceased, and now we have the property. And we want to keep it for our kids and our grandkids. And we don't want a landfill. We don't want the transfer station close to us. And we just want to let that be known.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
We appreciate your input. Anybody else want to?
I got a nice little letter. I took some time. I'm Jeff Jenkins. I live, unfortunately, in Jenny Springs Road, but we won't go there. And my brother lives a quarter mile from this facility, and we got land a quarter mile from that facility, which we'd like to.
So you're speaking on the land that's on 340?
Yes, ma'am, 340 in Mount Horeb Baptist Church. Well, it's not up there, but I wrote some few things down, just like to run them by you quickly, just tell you what our thoughts were. You know, the question is, you know, is 340 the right place for it? Of course, we're talking about that as we're finding out, you know, the other facilities, and it's going to be both sides. But my family's property line lies, you know, a quarter of a mile from the facility, and one of my brothers lives there, like I said, and we're planning on moving there shortly, my hope. But the county's on, you know, the documents anticipate a dramatic increase in the processed waste volumes. That means significantly more heavy equipment truck traffic on the road designed primarily for the rural residents' use. These trucks will be bringing constant noise, vibrations, diesel emissions, dust, and safety concerns for every family that uses 340, and the impact will not stop there. The studies conducted throughout the county constantly show that the homes located near waste transfer facilities experience declining property values. True that, because of the buyers simply do not want to live next to industrial waste operations. So families have invested their life savings into their homes and property and should not be forced to absorb the financial loss simply because, you know, we selected the wrong area for this facility. So choosing more of the appropriate locations, as we were talking about, is what we're trying to do, and understand the downfalls of it with the other properties and the other people around it. But speaking for our piece, we really would rather have that go somewhere else. And we don't want to sacrifice our homes, our property values, our quality of life, and our groundwater when a reasonable alternative exists. Respectively ask that you vote against the proposal location at Offer 47 and 340 that requires the staff to identify an equally industrially appropriate site. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. There's some other things, but you got what I was talking about.
Yep.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I'm Robbie Jenkins. I'm part of these outlaws behind me, but I don't claim them. But we were thinking about building some homes on this property pretty close to across the street to Mount Horeb. But with the traffic of these trucks that's going to be going in there, and I know that y'all will make sure that this site is kept clean at all times. But I've been to roll-off sites, and you see things that, how did this get in here? It's just an eyesore. It's something that's dangerous on these roads. It's just that 2-lane highway out there is already overused. And maybe if y'all would go talk to them people on the other one, tell them you'll give them 20, they might would take it. And a lot of them people over I talked to already, but they said they didn't mind it being put over there. Don't want the site.
I was gonna say, I've heard from a few that didn't have that already, and I'm pretty sure. Yeah, when more find out about it, they might have some input. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Vanessa Jenkins. I belong to one of these gentlemen back here, Jeff. I want to thank you, Ms. Langford, and you, Mr. Crosby, for answering my emails. I appreciate that. I have a little bit of different stuff to say than Jeff did, but we own the property on 340 for many years, and I'm here today asking you to protect something that cannot be replaced once it is damaged, our groundwater. This proposal is not simply about building another county facility. It is about placing a large solid waste transfer station, recycle operation, household hazardous waste collection area, and waste processing facility directly over one of Florida's most valuable natural resources. the Florida aquifer. This aquifer supplies drinking water to hundreds of families throughout this area. It is the same groundwater system that feeds the crystal clear waters of Jenny Springs, one of the Florida's greatest natural treasures. It is also the source of the exceptionally pure spring water used by the nearby bottling facility. The county is considering placing heavy industrial activity directly above the very resource that provides clean drinking water to our homes and supports a regional tourism economy worth millions of dollars every year. Florida's limestone geology is unlike most places in America. Water doesn't slowly filter through the thick layers of rock. It moves rapidly through underground fractures, caverns, and sinkholes. Once contamination enters this aquifer, it can travel for miles, affecting private wells, springs, rivers, and future generations. This facility would involve garbage trucks, diesel fuel, hydraulic fluids, household hazardous waste, chemicals, tires, runoff, stormwater, all located above an aquifer that cannot simply be cleaned up if something goes wrong. If contamination does occur, there is no practical way to restore an aquifer to its original condition. Is this a risk worth taking when there are other industrial zone locations available within Gilchrist County? Gilchrist County is a big county. We can build another transfer station. We cannot build another Florida aquifer. I respectfully ask this board to reject this location and direct staff to identify a site that does not place our drinking water, Jenny Springs, and our community at an unnecessary risk. Please choose to protect over convenience.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else want to speak? All right, well, what's the pleasure of the board? Do you want to consider this new property or stay with the other property?
Well, I mean, it's more centrally located and it's, I mean, it's by the dairy and you can have a buffer around it, but it's up to.
How about, I know Commissioner Tommy Langford's not here. Bobby, you had a chance to talk with him and he have any input on?
He knows the location, not really much input at that point, because I think he thought he'd be here today, but, no, I mean,
And you gotta advertise it and everything, we look at it.
And you have noise, I mean, this place,
we will
the
have to
dairy
have a
produces
public
noise
hearing.
24/7.
Absolutely. You'd have to have it advertised, and you'd have to have a public hearing to discuss it.
And-
Also got to bear in mind, you got that other option that's floating too, so you got to make sure.
What's
that you're not running out of
the
time.
time frame on the other option, Mr. Lang?
What, in 120 days, Bobby?
Well, we have to have a public meeting for
Close in
that one too,
September,
don't
I
we?
believe it is.
Both?
Yeah, so-
Either one.
Do what, Sharon?
We have to have a public meeting for the one on 340 also.
Well, you've entered into an option, you've entered into an option to purchase it. Now, you'd have to rescind that, you'd have to cancel that to get out of it for some reason during the due diligence period of time. But you've entered into an option, they'll keep your $5,000 if you get out of it. That's the way an option to purchase works, and that's the reason we did an option to purchase, so you weren't contractually
Right,
bound.
but we have to have a
buy it.
public hearing about changing the use
Either
of
one.
the use of that
And
land.
just for the record, Mr. Thomas filed a memorandum of conflict at the last meeting, so he can't participate in this discussion because he's affiliated with some of the folks out on the other, through his employment.
So even the new parcel that's not related to his employment, it wouldn't be good for him to speak on that?
It does affect the other portion if you change to this portion.
Okay.
So you can create a conflict there if he participates. you
Yeah,
know what
I
I'm saying?
understand.
I just want to point that out. That's already in the minutes and he's already filed a
Yeah.
conflict.
Do we need to do a new one if this gets a motion, though?
Pardon me?
Do we need to do a new?
Memorandum? I would renew the one that we have. He's not going to participate. He's going to abstain from participation in this.
When would be our next meeting?
August.
Or,
So we could have a special meeting, though, on just this subject if we need
We
to.
could.
one thing we could do is get the engineering firm to look at this other property.
We have that.
Give us, he had already looked at it? Okay. And,
Based on the topography of it, the soils are compatible
okay,
to do what they would want to do. You know, now, they haven't did any drilling because it's not our property, which if you entered into an option to purchase, then that would give us the right to go in and do a test drill to make sure. But based on the topography, it is compatible. It's sandy soil.
okay.
And if we put it on the side of the dairy and then in the back part, that way you couldn't, you wouldn't be able to see it off of 232 or that other road. Because Mr. Bennett owns those two parcels below up there.
Yeah.
The dairy owns it also.
I just look at all the congestion around the dairy and, all the congestion around, the horse farms down there and the people going in and going out. I mean, I feel for the people on 47, they're friends of mine, but I don't.
What about the congestion on 340 and 47 where they're going to?
There's not a dairy right there with a lot of industrial
Yeah, but
equipment coming
you
on.
have the big you have the pine straw.
Right now,
with the
you've got all the
semis.
silage trucks running in and out of there, hauling silage.
But you
and
have
all that.
you have the pine straw place right there on 340. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yeah,
Hold on, James.
and
We'll
that
we'll
is
let
right
you.
there.
So, yeah, Mr. Shepherd wants to provide some input.
Ain't nothing compared to what that dairy is.
James, I know who you are, but can you, say your name?
I am James Shepherd.
Yeah, and,
We also have some large landowners in Gilchrist County that border highways that might have some, property that might be what we're looking for.
Say that
Who
again,
now?
James.
Who's that?
I said, we also have some large landowners in Gilchrist County that have property that borders the highways. They might be willing to work with the county. If, ride around, ask them, and find a piece that may be what they're looking for, ask them.
we've done some of that.
That's what this
but we-
is-
Not
that's-
say we can't do more of that.
Yeah,
but-
I mean, I know that
Yeah.
all that on 232 all the way to 138 was for sale for years, and it was all bought up. But anyhow, you have Longfellow and all of them's got property, and Sandy's got property here, got all over the place. But anyhow, I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, no, that's good input.
Just so you
Yeah,
know,
my only-
I did speak with Longkel HLT.
Yeah.
I did speak with them, and the only property they had, they were willing to, at the time, would have been on 47.
Yeah.
But the problem there was, they was gonna require us to put in turning lanes, which adds $1 million, to the cost, and then.
So decent lanes and stuff,
And
yeah.
it's still on 47, right?
Yeah, it'd be right there south of the school property. That was the property that they said that they would, where the school bought on 47.
Or what?
Where the school bought on 47, where the power lines and gas line comes across right there.
Yeah.
Just, that'd be south of that, but that was where they would consider. They never said they would, they said they would consider.
Yeah.
And that was the only spot. And then, of course, when we talked to MacArthur, this was the spot they would
Yes, I know.
consider.
Montpellier on the, down 47, both sides of the road, and down 232 on the left, all the way back toward Jackson.
Yeah, I understand Sharon's argument about that's next to the dairy. My only concern also, again, just to reiterate, is the fact that there are a lot of people that live in Gilchrist Farms and in Flying Harness Farm that'll come and go on that grade there right by the solid waste facility.
Yeah, I have some of that same concern. I think once those folks find out that's a consideration, we're gonna hear from lots of those people, and that's part of the
You put the signs
process.
up on the highway, you'll get some feedback, I promise you.
Yeah. So at this point, I'd like to get Commissioner Langford, Tommy Langford's input, and can we schedule a special meeting and let's get this decided? And
I think we have to defer to Todd because he was looking at his calendar, trying to figure this out for July so that we would hit our budget workshops and
We're having a meeting Monday. Can we do it Monday?
we're dropping our 20th meeting, I believe, or whatever it was.
can we tag it on
We
with the
could,
budget?
we could tag it on next week, because we could do it as an emergency
Yeah.
meeting, which requires less,
48 hours notice, I believe.
correct.
then you
So,
just
I
have to
mean,
contact.
we have meetings next Monday and Tuesday,
Do it
so.
one of those days.
I don't think that's enough notice.
Well, he said do it as an emergency meeting.
I mean, you can't try to select a piece of property with no notice to the public, is what I'm trying
Oh,
to say.
okay. You need to let the,
Outside of that, I mean, we could go to
Well,
July
it's-
27th, which only gets you a week closer, but again,
Because
we're
as y'all
running.
mentioned, you gotta post the property, you gotta have an advertisement in the paper.
Did we
Unless
post
it's an
the,
emergency meeting.
did we post the other property on 340?
Did we?
No, we did
Here's the
not.
thing, I can't post a man's property
We did not.
unless he allows us to post it. That's his private property, so until
don't know
you
why we
enter
have to
into
post
some type
this.
of option to purchase or something, unless he's willing to let you
It
post
was advertised. It was advertised.
This is advertised today.
So, I mean, I don't know if you can do this, and Mr. Lang, this will fall into you to let me know. You got a meeting on August 3rd. That'll give us the proper time to advertise it. If the board wants to enter into an option to purchase on this property, just so we can do what we need to do, to advertise it, we'll advertise both of these properties and have them on the same meeting on August the 3rd.
I don't think you can do that, what you're saying. I got ahead of me a little bit there, but you're talking about entering into an option before you have the opportunity for public input?
We didn't, that's why we did the other piece.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. We had a meeting, we had a motion from the board, seconded and passed, that asked me to prepare an option to purchase. We prepared it, we had Daryl sign it, sent it to them for them to still, consider, and then they considered it, they signed it, and sent it back.
Well, so can we direct you to do an option of purchase on this one here?
Not without having public input.
But
Well,
we're having
what's the
public input tonight, though.
This was on the board meeting.
This was on the agenda.
Was this on the advertised thing? Did it?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, it was.
Not on the advertised, it was not.
It was on Town Cloud.
It was on the website, but it wasn't in the paper.
Was the other one
And
in
it
the
wasn't a
paper?
time-
It wasn't a time certain, no.
Was the other one in the paper?
Yes.
The other one was in the paper.
Oh, the agenda was in the paper,
The agenda, but
but not.
so what's your
what,
recommendation?
Mr. Crosby, was the other one in the paper?
Let's get Mr. Lang's recommendation. He's our legal. What do you suggest? Because you're hearing what our discussion is, and
When is our next meeting, Todd?
August 3rd,
August 3rd?
4 weeks.
I think that we need to advertise this in the newspaper for the August 3rd meeting, time certain. And that way the public should have sufficient notice. I'm gonna have a report here in a few minutes concerning Matthew Harrell's Gilchrist County Herald newspaper. And I think we can get it in the local one as well as in the Dixie Advocate. And that should be sufficient legal notice.
Do we need to do a time certain for the other piece of property also on 340?
You've already entered into an option to purchase on the 340.
But we didn't do
property.
a time certain, I don't think. And we didn't notify we didn't post it, and we didn't notify anybody that lives around it, and we didn't put up anything on the land or anything.
I don't know, we'd have to check the minutes, I'm not sure, Ms. Langford.
so you will look at and evaluate what we need to do to be legally and meet all our requirements. And what
For
you're
both pieces.
suggesting is we go to and consider it on August the 3rd.
Yeah, as long as it's advertised for a public meeting with sufficient notice, then I think that you're okay to move forward. The one that went in the newspaper, though, I don't think had, and Karen, I think, was supporting what I'm saying.
I'm looking.
Are you looking?
I'm looking.
The one that went in the newspaper, I don't think actually mentioned that we were going to consider this piece of property here.
It's a property discussion.
It's on the website that Todd was pointing out.
So while they're looking, the other thing we've done is posted on both the paper, the newspaper, and also our web page, and asked folks for property if they were interested in selling to the county. And we've also contacted some big landowners, as Mr. Crosby mentioned. So we're continuing to try to find the best for this location. I think you probably already heard it, but we're currently bringing all our garbage, solid waste from 5 remote sites, bringing it to a central location, repackaging it, and taking it in Union County. And the way we've been doing it is as cheap per person, per resident, than any surrounding county. And just the way we have and the way it's managed, and so we want to keep it that way. But finding the right spot is a challenge, as everybody knows. And we want to get the best spot away from as most people and be considerate of what we pay, all those things. Yes, sir.
Just to add some clarity, May 18th, we had it on the agenda under solid waste on the county administrator's report. It just was solid waste property search results. There was a motion to approve the county attorney drafting an option to purchase, subject to getting appraisals and the zone change.
So that was no different than, just like it's on the agenda today.
Comparable, I guess.
So do we need to go back and redo that one also then, apparently?
Well, you can't redo it because it's been entered into by the county and the optionor.
And that was on May 18th,
Yes, ma'am.
and it said property discussion? Just like
It
it said
did.
here.
Yes,
Didn't-
ma'am.
So we didn't advertise at that meeting we were gonna buy it?
I don't see what the problem is. We don't look at the property August the 3rd.
Well, the problem is, if you're directing me to enter into it, to go ahead and prepare an option to purchase, then you need to tell me how much money you're willing to lose if you choose not to go forward with it, and we can do that, because now you'll have two options to purchase with money on the table, that if you
We're gonna
don't,
lose one of them.
you're gonna lose one of them, that's exactly right.
So can we consider this property without entering into a purchase, option to purchase, and keep looking at both
Yeah.
properties and then consider it on August the 3rd?
I think, I think you can do that as long as you advertise it, that's what I've said all along.
Okay,
Without doing the option to purchase, yes,
okay.
advertise it.
I think we're all on the same page, and so
My-
that's,
Because you
question-
made your decision to do the option to purchase to move forward. And now you're trying to back up on that one and do a different option to purchase. And if you're gonna do that, I think you gotta advertise that.
yes, sir.
But originally we didn't.
My name is Jeff Hardison. I'm a journalist, and I just want to be certain, because I'm about to walk out because I got to do other things. I'm saying now, and I know this is true, there's an option to purchase that exists now on that property. And if you didn't exercise the purchase, said, no, we want to buy something else, you're going to lose $5,000.
That's
Yes,
correct.
sir.
Now, but my question is really for Mr. Lang, and if I may ask him,
But don't make it too hard.
it won't be, I'm just wondering, so then, and it doesn't mean that it has happened, this is a hypothetical thing, but is it possible then to have two options, and then somebody's going to get money for free even though you're not buying their property, and somebody's just going to sell their property?
That's right, as long as you're timely with it and you exercise your right to get out of it.
Yes,
And they
sir.
can keep your money.
And
If you
also,
wait too late, you're gonna be forced to close.
I understand that too, and I also understand your idea of trying to get the public to have enough public notice to make it a real fair thing for everybody to know.
That is also
Then I've got it
correct.
right.
That's 100%
Without fear and
correct.
favor, I'm trying to report this truth.
And that's governed also in part by the number of people that live around this site right here.
I saw the map, and I saw them doing the group from there and there. I have the map at my house, which I can use from your records, and I think we can make it clear to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we are clear on where we're going now?
Todd has something.
My only concern is still timeline, of getting something purchased. How do we make sure that we get something done before the deadline? Because I know we're up against the timeline to potentially lose our funds from appropriation. So my main thing is how far can we go down the road on this the one that we have the option on? Like, what has to be completed in order for us to execute purchasing that property?
The engineer has to tell you that it's a good site. You have to do some sort of environmental study to make sure it's a good site, and I'm sure the engineer will take that into consideration when they're making their recommendation as to the site. You're gonna need a title insurance commitment order to show that the status of the title is marketable, that you can take a good warranty deed to the property without any liens or encumbrances. And you need to have a survey to determine where the easements that you're going to grant to the Anderson Columbia people that own property to the north is going to be located. You'll recall there's kind of a hodgepodge easement running across part of the property now for them to assess the property to the north. We got to know where that is because you won't be able to utilize this property if you don't have it over on the edge somewhere where it doesn't interfere with the basic 30 acres.
So, and then do we also have to do, like, if we were going that direction, isn't there also hearings that we have to have in order to get the zoning changed?
That's what Bobby said, and he talked with North Florida professionals, and we're going to have that designated as a public zoning category, a public usage, rather than, now I think it's A2, agriculture 2. I believe that's correct. But yes, you're going to have to change it to have a public
You got to
usage.
send letters out to people and.
And does that have to occur before we purchase?
Well, it doesn't, but now, to be smart about it, it should, because of the fact you'd hate to buy the property and
And then not be
public
able to use it.
argue against you and wouldn't let you change it to public usage.
Absolutely.
So who handles that part, the notice and,
Well, all that's on our back right at the moment, and the clock's clicking. That's why I'm telling you, North Florida would do the zoning for us.
how far would we notify, how far out from the sites would we notify potential landowners? Is it a mile or
No, it's 400 feet.
400 feet?
400 feet from adjoining property owner. That's in your that's in your code. That's in the land development code.
Yeah, that don't seem like it's enough.
You can give them more. You
Yeah.
can give them more. And also, I think that the board is instructed on occasions like we do with the road closing, just so there's more public notice, you can put the roadside signs that say there's a public meeting on such and such a date. You can go farther, you just can't go less. You can give more notice, but you can't give less notice.
Yeah, and in this case, where we're trying to site a solid waste collection facility, I think we ought to go more, quite a bit more, and make sure everybody's aware. Because I stopped the other day and landowner just next door, but they were not aware that this was even a consideration. And so I think, to be fair, people need to have that notice. And just like these folks have come and provided input. So at this point, we are going to, on August the 3rd, consider this property and make a decision. We got to make a decision that day.
That's correct. And you'll have that as part of our regular agenda, Kieran, in the paper. Okay.
And then as far as notice for both properties, what's the board want to do?
I think that's going to be the next step after we decide what piece of property we're buying.
You don't want to do that before we decide and get input?
We can, but we need to send the letters to people that own both land. Yeah, we can do that. Go ahead, do both of them at the same time. That way, we'll see,
The
where we
option,
get the most complaints.
the option is valid until September 28th, midnight.
Say that again?
September 28th, midnight.
Okay. Well, in the meeting in August, can we go ahead and notify the property owners on both pieces of property?
How far out? A mile? Half a mile? What do y'all think?
I think if they get to the right neighbor, you ain't got to worry about it getting out.
You're right, if it gets to the right neighbor, you won't have to notify anybody, they will.
Yep.
But I would think within a quarter to a half mile.
Yeah.
Quarter
I guess
mile?
the question is, what does that mean? Because looking at the parcel that we're looking at today, you're talking about a massive amount of people.
That's what I'm saying, if you look at that parcel right there, there's a lot of people live within a quarter mile of that
If you
piece of
span out
property.
on that, like it's going to be expensive is what I'm saying, like to get that many people in.
That's kind of why we've kept it at 400 feet a lot of times, because a lot of times if it's heavily populated, That's, but we can do it however the board wants to do it. But we can post it very well, so anybody that drives by it can see the posting.
So post it on both locations? Yeah.
Are we, now, on August the 3rd, we're just gonna be talking about the property on 232, correct?
That's right.
Well, I think Darrell was saying, why don't we go ahead and notify everybody on both pieces, because the other piece we have not notified anybody on, and just have everybody to come speak at the same time, that way we see who has, where the most complaints are.
It's all right with me if you want to do both of them.
For the record, we also have a 2 o'clock workshop that day.
Say it again, Todd?
We also have a 2 o'clock workshop that day prior to the meeting, just FYI.
We might want to do the solid waste instead of the budget workshop. Can we do that?
Yeah, but can people come at 2 o'clock though? Because, that's early, people working. Pardon me?
Today was late too, for working people. It was
I know,
late.
that's what I would hate to start something at 2 o'clock. That would be real early for people to get off work.
I currently do have, it's really only, and most of it's board departments of some sort, but the sheriff is scheduled for that day as well as Meridian. So I'd have to reschedule.
The
them.
sheriff?
Sir?
You probably won't be able to do this till about 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6
Yeah, I
o'clock.
don't think so.
All right. 6 o'clock? Is that what
Okay.
we'll give everybody opportunity to come that wants to provide input.
So we're talking August.
And this is for both partials.
Yep, and we're gonna notify, send something out,
For both partials.
both parcels.
August what day?
August 3rd?
August 3rd at 6 o'clock.
Right.
The notices are going to be about which parcel to select, or that's not dealing with the zoning issues or any of that stuff, is it? What are we doing? What are we doing on August the 3rd?
We're gonna have to decide which piece of property we wanna do August 3rd. That's just, we gotta decide, we're cutting it down.
Okay, so I'm trying to narrow what we're gonna be doing that day, is to decide which,
I would say August 3rd, we're gonna have to say yay or nay on which piece of property we're gonna go with. And sad to say, we're just not gonna make everybody happy, I'm afraid, but I'm gonna say it again, and I don't think that anybody is gonna be affected by it truly as bad as everybody thinks they're gonna be affected by it. I think in the middle of 20 or 25 acres, you're gonna take 5 acres out of the middle of it, and most people might see an extra truck on Saturday or Sunday, not on Sunday, but on Saturday, but I don't expect there to be a big impact. I just,
Well, maybe on August 3rd, we can explain, or try to communicate the best we can what we're gonna have and how it'll work.
it would be nice if we had the two pieces one piece of paper on one and one piece of paper on the other, showing the pieces of property and the things so you can compare. Instead of, we haven't been able to see the place on 47 again, and I know where it is, and I've been out there and I've driven through it, but not everybody knows where it is out there. It'd be nice to
playing
have a
devil's
picture of both
advocate, what
of
if
them.
somebody comes up with another piece of property between now and August 3rd?
Send the money back.
I would love to see someone come up with a piece of property that they own the land all the way around it and they want to still sell it. But I don't see that happening. Gilchrist County is filling up quickly, and there doesn't seem to be a piece of property that's not located next to somebody who doesn't want a transfer station near them.
That's right.
Mr. Lane, I think the answer to the question, though, would be August 3rd is to determine, do you move forward with the new parcel, or do you just continue with your current contract? Your option.
And they can discuss both parcels.
And discuss both parcels. And, if it's decided to move forward with the 232 parcel, I think we would have to start a contract to move forward with that and determine if it's a viable option. I mean, at this point, I would say you keep the option until you know for certain that the other parcel goes through, until the end.
That's right.
But
So are we sending letters out to people at this point? We're not then, are we?
The meeting that we're having is only required to be publicly advertised as we do a normal meeting. We can post the property on 340 because we're in an option
We do have a
purchase.
legal document.
We have
that
a
says
document.
We have that, right.
I don't know if we can, the gentleman may be very willing to let us post the property on 232. I'll reach out and ask him. He is wanting to sell the property, so he may be very willing to cooperate in the property.
Well, I think you can get on the edge of the public right of way and put your note, your sign on county property without getting on his property. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get in the right of way on the grade and the right of way of 232.
I still would ask him though, I mean.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Do we need to post,
his
do we need to post the property, on 340 then, so people can see that
That's what he
also?
said.
Yeah, we are going, we can.
He's doing that for sure.
On 340 also?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. What we were talking about is how we would post Tony Davis's property there. And I was saying that I think you could probably do one of those small signs on the public right-of-way edge. You know what I'm saying? It still notifies you of this property right here.
The other thing we can do is, I know Caitlin put together a pretty good one-page summary of all that we've kind of considered up to now, and maybe we can update that a little bit. We can put that on Facebook and social media, and people will have that notice as well. All right, are we settled on this? Can we move forward? Or thank you all for coming and providing input. And
What is the date that your funding is?
August 3rd, August 3rd?
No, the grant that you guys have to purchase this property, what is the deadline?
So we got a, 6-month extension?
3 months ago.
3-month extension.
But the grant's not for buying the property, the grant's for building the facility. We're gonna have to buy the property out of, the county's gonna have to buy the property, and the grant is used for building the facility. And we did get a 6 months extension on it, but we're into that 6 months, well into that 6 months already. So it's something that's gotta be decided pretty quick.
So you're saying you have to purchase the property, do all the land study, and build a transfer station?
No, we just have to have the land purchased by then
We
so
just
we
got to
can
get
start.
the land bought. Yes,
We
ma'am.
need to do the land study before we buy the land though.
That's what the engineering firm, I think, is
That's right.
done for us. But they've already preliminary looked at this as well, right, Bobby?
Sir?
They've already preliminary looked at this property we're talking about today as well.
Have they done the land study on the other piece of property?
No, I stopped them because
Okay.
I didn't want to spend that money.
Okay.
Yeah,
They'll
because
have
these
to send
studies
an
are very
environmental crew out
expensive.
there to drill.
It cost us $20,000-$30,000 to do those studies.
Sir?
So they're real expensive to do.
Yeah. And just to explain a little bit about the grant, it is a $4.2 million grant. To get the grant, we had to match about 40%, so we put around $3 million with it. We are in a tight window, but once we get things secured, that window releases a little bit. They've just got to get some factual information like it's going to go here and that. So, it's not that we got 6 months. Once we get everything in place, we've probably got 2 years to get everything built. So it's just, you only have the game's supposed to kick off at a certain time, and we got a storm right now, so we're waiting to get through the storm, and then we'll kick the game off as soon as we can get the storm over with.
Yeah, so if you want to you got to come back up. And then I'm probably just going to limit it because we're going to have plenty.
I just want to know what the deadline for the purchase of the property on 340 is.
Okay, we don't, we've got an option.
September the 28th.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, all right. So I think we're settled August the 3rd. No more discussion on that. We're going to move on now to the next agenda item, which is Northeast 30th Street and a revision of the contract.
Yes, we have a change order number 1. We had some additional funding in the grant. They were willing to extend it roughly a half a mile, 0.55 miles from Northeast 50th 58th Terrace to Northeast 64th Avenue. The amount of that change order is $446,725.27. Again, that will be covered by the grant. Just need approval of change order number 1 to move forward, and that's with Anderson, Columbia.
Okay. Board.
I move to move forward with the change order for Northeast 30th Street and Dixie Grade.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second to approve the change order. This is funding, as mentioned, State of Florida, Small County, what's it called? Small County Road, Scrap and Scrap. And again, a lot of our roads get paved because we're able to, as a small county, access this fund. So, motion and a second. All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, Mr. Crosby, anything else?
No, sir, that's all I have
All right.
today.
Thank y'all for coming. Mr. Lane, you?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My report is somewhat brief today. The very first thing that I have on the agenda is my attorney report on appointees to the canvassing board for the general election. We have Miss Lisa Darris with us, if she'd come up. I have researched this matter. As a matter of fact, I think Daryl might have sent this to me, but it's from my association, Florida Association of County Attorneys Property Tax Amendment, Do's and Don'ts. And upon my research, my recommendation would be that we do not let our commissioners participate as board members in this particular category, that even though the law reflects that you candidates, you won't support candidates, this is an issue of popular concern that could be construed as affecting you personally. So I don't believe, and I'm going to defer to Lisa here in just a moment, but I don't believe this affects the primary election in August. So our normal appointments will work for that particular time, but we're going to have to get the chief judge, is it Todd, to appoint canvassing board members for the general election.
Okay.
That's my recommendation.
That's totally fine. I need somebody for August for sure. We can take care of November later, but
But she's kind of hurrying us along.
Yes.
We got to go ahead and get those
I need
picked.
August.
Okay, so anything else to add, Lisa?
I mean,
So,
it's normally the chairman, and then you've already taken the signature class for me, so if you could.
I'd be disappointed after taking that
Yes.
3 or 4 hour.
It's such a good class, though.
That was very interesting, seeing how people do cursive and this and that, and
Yeah, I took that class.
so, all right, so I think we settled that already. It's just a matter of the legal
Well, we
interpretation.
probably need a motion that we won't participate as being on the canvassing board for the general election.
Okay,
Board
so,
member.
somebody want to make that motion?
Yeah, I'll move that the board members should not participate in the general election canvassing board
Due to a potential conflict of interest.
due to a conflict of interest.
I'll second that.
Yeah, you got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Do you have something, Todd?
After the vote.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Just as clarification, the chairman is the canvassing board member, and Commissioner Langford is Sharon Langford is the alternate. Is that correct?
I believe that was right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Thank
then,
you.
All right.
Lisa, do you know what we have to do
Yes.
to notify the chief judge? Or?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll take care of that.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
And Mr. Lane, you have something on data centers.
Yeah, my daddy used to say a little knowledge is a dangerous thing, and I went off to Orlando and I got too much knowledge, but that was one of our topics. It was AI and the next generation with data centers, and really it's pretty darn interesting. Everybody has jumped on the bandwagon about prohibiting them. They forget that there's millions and millions of dollars in taxes that can be generated if you have one in your area, but there are a lot of significant pitfalls and downfalls. You got it as well, I'm sure, when y'all went through your...
I attended a hour and a half, 2-hour workshop. It was quite a heated debate, and I found out, just like you, that they're not the three-headed monsters everybody's been complaining about, but I'm not saying we want one in Gilchrist County, but
That's
I am
right.
saying they're not as bad as everybody has been screaming about them. They have done a lot of improvements as far as making them quiet making them more water efficient, where they're recycling the water now. And yes, they do bring in millions of dollars of revenue into the counties that have them. And you say, well, we don't want it in Gilchrist. It doesn't matter if it's in Gilchrist or Levy or Alachua. It's still pumping into our aquifer.
That's right.
And they're gonna benefit from the tax revenue. We're not. If it's put into a county beside us, and it's still gonna affect our resources. I mean, just because you cross that line at Levy or Dixie or Gilchrist, you don't jump out of a different aquifer. It's the same aquifer that we all pump out of. So if it's going into another county and they're gonna reap the benefits of the taxes from it, it's still gonna affect us.
I know a lot of
But-
counties have already done the,
Well,
deny it.
16,
Yes.
as of the conference, 16 counties have done bans and quite a few others have done moratoriums. And my association recommends always do a moratorium for like a year while it's being studied, because they said that these bans are going to be proven to be unconstitutional, or they're going to generate liability to the county under Burt J. Harris. You took their property without giving them reasonable compensation back for taking it based on just because you don't want to have them there. So if we do anything, we probably ought to do a moratorium for a year while the matter's being studied. I'll be happy to draft that if that's what you want to do.
I'll make a motion that we do a moratorium for 1 year.
And I'll second it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go ahead and vote on that, and I'll tell you
Yep.
something
So
else.
any other discussion from the board? I will mention, when we were down at that annual meeting, talking to a commissioner from Okeechobee, they had these same discussions, and they said what they've done is went ahead and looked at their planning, local ordinances related to planning, and go ahead and change it. So I'm just wondering if we don't want to get North Florida professionals to look at.
That we do, and
Okay.
you can put it in your comp plan, you put it in your land development code, and you can put it where they had to be and be located. But you know, they're smarter than we are. Or maybe they're not smarter than us, but they're ahead of us. Let's put it that way. Because now they've come up with something called micro data centers. And what a micro data center is, y'all might have heard about this. Micro data center is the size of an air conditioning unit that's hooked onto a house that'll serve 4 processors. And what they do is they say, we'll give you X numbers of dollars to put against your electric bill if you'll allow us to put this on your residential property. And then they sign up 1,000 houses that'll serve as 4 data processing centers, and they get the equivalent of having a big data center. And they don't have to do any kind of zoning changes, because you can
And
put
no
on
building, no.
you can put it on your house what you want to have on your house, and it's using the same amount of water in the aggregate and the same amount of electricity as if they built the big data center.
Yeah.
So that's why I say they may not be smarter enough, but they're ahead of us.
Well, the other thing is that could happen, like other things have happened, the state legislature could preempt it. And no
Yep.
matter what we
And that's what's
do,
going to happen.
no matter what we do, they're going to say, this is how it is.
It's going to be like
So much like
farm.
solar farms,
Yeah.
where they're gonna
Exactly
say,
what's going to happen is what they told me.
yep, that's what I've heard too, that the state may just step in and say, you gotta have them. There's nothing you can do to stop them, but you can, some things they did say, you can put a lot of restrictions on them. You can put noise restrictions, and you can put restrictions where they don't operate during peak electrical hours. You can also put in there that shared profit type things for the community. I know there was a community in Virginia that has 22 of them in their community, and they love them because they've built parks, they've built theaters, they've built gymnasiums, they've got completely invested in the community, much like Don Bennett did when he came into our community. They really invested heavy in the community, and the community loves it because they got all this stuff that the
That
data
they wouldn't have
centers are
otherwise
helping.
gotten.
Plus, it brings in very high-paying jobs.
So there's a lot we could discuss and learn, but at this point, we got a motion to have a moratorium for a year, and maybe we can get North Florida professionals to begin looking at how we might change our planning. We got a motion to second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And I got one final thing.
Yes, sir.
Matthew, you want to come up?
Real quick, though, are we asking North Central Florida to address that, or?
Yeah, we'll get with Brandon or with Justin
I've
on
actually
that.
already talked to him just a little bit about what we need to do if it got to that night. So,
You're ahead of us already, so.
Matthews,
a very light discussion, not much.
Yes, sir.
and that's the proper way to do it, is put it in your land development code and also in your comp plan. Matthew sent me an email last week, based on the results of a circulation audit conducted by the Circulation Verification Council. Got a bunch of big words there. Website. Now, the Gilchrist County Herald is now eligible to publish legal notices. And then he sent me all the criteria that goes along with that study that they had put together for him. And so he says that they're ready to do that, and I think he's probably correct. But I'm not a media verification type guy, and so what I'd like to do is, if the board gives permission for Matthew to start posting this stuff, that Todd just kind of look over my shoulder at this as well, and see what you come up with. And the reason I say that, and Matthew may can answer this better than me, but you have to have so many households, but it looks like they're incorporating both the paid circulation that's picked up in print as well as the internet circulation.
It's the combined, it's my mailed subscribers, my newsstand sales, and monthly unique website visitors. And I basically, just on website visitors, I have 10% of the households in Gilchrist County.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The requirements are, newspaper must be published at least once a week. Newspaper must contain at least 25% of its words in English. Newspaper must be available to the public generally for official notices and contain public information, interest information. At least 10% of households, that's what you're speaking
Yes, sir.
of, in the county or municipality where the notice is published must be reached. How do you do that? Reach 10% of the household?
When you add up it's like, my monthly, my circulation's over 1,600, and then the census from 2020 has us with 6,659 households. So 10% of that is 665.9. You don't want to round up to the next number. But obviously, if you add up what the statute says you add up, I'm well past that number.
And it says, the newspaper must be sold or available at not fewer than 10 publicly accessible outlets.
We have 11.
He got 11. So he's on top of it.
Good deal.
Yeah, the last time I had looked at it, I thought the only thing that we were waiting on was his audit.
Yeah, I had to have an audit that said it, but I mean, what I talked to Mr. Newton, he said I think we're like.
Oh, you've already talked with Todd about
Yeah,
this?
like probably December maybe,
I think
something
so,
in there. Yeah,
yes.
and I was like 3 subscribers short of there's a percentage of my circulation has to be mailed. And I was like 3 mailed short when Mr. Newton emailed me. But we're there now.
Well, based on the information available to me, I don't have any issue with Matthew starting publishing his paper. Just with the caveat, I'll shoot all this stuff over to Todd, and if he happens to catch something I hadn't seen, he can stop me and we can call Matthew. But with that being said, my recommendation would be that we utilize.
I've also talked to the Press Association, and they told me I can run legals. And I got emailed last week by Florida Public Notices, and they gave me all the stuff I need to upload the notices to floridapublicnotices.com. So we're set to go as soon as you guys.
Congratulations, Matthew.
I'm proud for him, absolutely.
You've worked hard to get this.
We've been waiting a little while to get you, and you did all the work, but we've been anticipating this day, and so we look forward, I think the board supporting somebody local in this county, so.
So we can pull from the Dixie paper now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matthew, I was talking to one of your a lady the other day that gets 2 papers, and they told me, said, I'm fixing to cancel your competitor's paper, and I'm going to keep this one. Said it's got great coverage in it of what goes on in the county. And this person is a person that, they're a newspaper person. That's how they're going to get most of their stuff. So I thought that was a good compliment to your coverage.
Well, these legal notices are the lifeblood of any publication, so this will help Matthew tremendously to be able to get this in his paper.
Hopefully we can start getting a staff, and it's not just me, and we can do a little bit better job than we've been doing and try to get to where the journal was.
That'd be awesome.
Okay.
I'm happy for you.
Yep.
I am too.
Thank you, Matthew.
That's what I wanted to announce.
Congratulations.
Yes, sir.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right, I noticed the sheriff is here, and I went past you in the constitutional spot. Did you have anything before we Okay, we appreciate you being here and all the work you do. Yes, sir, Mr. Newton?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First item on our report is a budget recap. This is through June 30th. We're right at 75% of the year completed. In the general fund, we've had year-to-date expenditures of $21,460,000 on revenues of $24,378,000. In fire, we've had year-to-date expenditures of right at $946,000 on revenues of $1,238,000. In transportation, we've had year-to-date expenditures of $1,978,000 on revenues of $2,408,000. So transportation's continuing to run along trend as far as where we're at for the year, so hopefully we'll be able to continue to see that. Moving down to EMS, we've had year-to-date expenditures of $2,274,000 on revenues of $2,274,000. So the good news is we're at revenues. Bad news is we are ahead of, continuing to be ahead of the year. We're at 83% versus 75%. So again, we're going to have to continue to keep an eye on that. In solid waste, we're at $883,000 on revenues of $1,245,000. Again, that's right at where we should be for the year on expenditures, but at least it is under revenues. Otter Springs, we've had year-to-date expenditures of $326,000 on revenues of $44,000. Revenues are actually not completely reflective because we had to change over credit card systems, and in the changeover, the amounts were being credited but not sent to us. So we could see them, but we weren't receiving them in. And so that has since been corrected. So hopefully in our next monthly update, you'll see revenues that reflect more accurate to where I think we are year to date.
Yeah, the May revenues were right at $50,000, so pretty much doubles the number we had.
Yeah.
I noticed you have Otter. What about, how's Hart Springs doing?
Hart Springs is, revenues are strong. I know, what were we talking about the other day?
Well, we're averaging about 25,000 a week on the park, the day park coming in. You know, we're running close because of some of the repairs that we had to do to the wastewater treatment facility. But if we can continue having a good summer and keep running strong, we should be okay.
Is Hart Springs still clear? I know some of the sun turned dark.
It started to turn dark this weekend. It went back out, came about halfway in today, and stopped, and looks like it's going to go back out. So we keep.
So with tides it comes in and tides it goes out?
I think that might be what some of it is, because it seems to come in with the tide. I mean, that's a good, I'm glad, I hadn't thought about that.
It is tides.
Very good, that's what it is.
Believe it or not, this far upriver, we have a 4 to 6 inch difference in tide.
Well, we've noticed a change in the heights with the tide, but I hadn't thought about that might be what's pushing in the brown water.
Yeah.
But it's not, today it came in, but people were able to continue swimming because it didn't make it in, far enough yet to shut down swimming.
All right, any questions?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not enough to push.
All right, if no other questions. Next item is we did receive back our OPAGA report from the state. This is the audit that's required in regards to the sales surtax for fire. So I put that in there for you to be able to review. This is actually, I believe it's been posted to the website. Is that right?
Yes,
Yes.
that is correct.
Okay. So it has been posted to the website per statute and requirement. And so now at this point, we just have to await the election in November and see what the public decides. So at this point, it's up to them. So we'll have to.
When do we have to have that language ready by?
End of August.
And did they provide us that language?
There's draft language out there. Yeah, and I plan to get it to Lisa sometime early August.
That's the same question I asked Todd. You got something already drafted.
Well, I attempted to push it to Duke.
Yeah. So wait a minute, there's got to be.
It got
They
reverted
gave
back.
us so many guidelines, I was thinking they gave us that too, but I couldn't remember, but we'll get together and work on that language so we can.
Yeah.
Do we have, we talked about having like a real short summary we could give to the public to explain what we're trying to do, where this would be sales tax and whatever we raise, we're thinking $1 million or $1.5 million would replace property tax. It'd be spread out across.
It's more than that, but it was closer to almost 2 million.
Okay, so.
That it would be it'd be spread across us, and my indication is that Fanning is interested in opting in. Have not heard from City of Trenton yet, but, so basically, if everyone opts in, then it'll be spread between the county and both municipalities, in proportion, but.
So we have something we could put on the website or Facebook or
Yes,
explains
and
this?
I think, I think this, in looking at the fact printout on the ad valorem question, I think this potentially falls in similar category. Like, I think that there's certain things that we can put out there, but I think we have to be cautious in the language that we use.
That's right. It has to be factual.
It has to be factual.
You can't expend public resources to advocate for or against.
Correct. And that, so I do think we have to be cautious in how we, I think we would be able to put it on our website, put it on social media, but like expending any dollars towards it,
You
I think.
couldn't do a resolution. I was talking to Phil, you can't do a resolution saying you should vote for this or vote against this.
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking about making it clear to the public
Educate
what
everybody.
we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay?
All right, the next item is, last meeting, there was a question on when we start our meetings. As you both know, or all know, we currently start all of our meetings typically at 4 o'clock. And there was a question on whether or not we should consider changing our meeting times to later. And so I was asked to put that on my report, so.
I got a text from a Stalvey girl today, and she said 6 o'clock would be good for her.
Have we ever in the past, I mean, I don't know, past 7 years, have we ever in the past started our meetings at 6, 7 o'clock at night?
I think 7's too late.
Well, I agree, but I was just wondering if at any other time, have we ever done that?
We may have had one or two special meetings.
Yes.
What we have tried to do, if we had anything we knew, for instance, like the solid waste, we had the RV park one time, we've had different things like that, and we would try to be sure and set those time certains,
Later.
after 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock, to be sure. In that case, we've had once or twice, I think we even had to wait for a time certain just because we finished the meeting.
We
And
have.
what we did was schedule those issues later with a time certain, so that gave people the opportunity and time to get here.
Well, I would certainly be interested in starting them a little bit later. Again,
What time are you
I
thinking?
don't wanna be here till 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and nobody else really wants to be here at that time either. So
And you do that,
I think
nobody
we need to
should-
start later, but not so much later that our meetings are going till 9 o'clock at night.
So what time are you thinking, 5 or?
I was thinking if we started at 5 or 5:30 even, by the time we get through reading the minutes and approving the minutes and all that, you've got 15, 20, 30 minutes there, and so that way you wouldn't start the business that people may be more interested in hearing until a little bit later, so whatever everybody wants. I was thinking 5 or 5:30 would be good with me.
Yeah.
We could try it for a short time and see if there's any difference. I mean, we could just do a trial basis. We do have a budget workshop next week in the afternoon later on. That's kind of an idea of what interest people have. My experience is if somebody wants to be here, like the water issue we had. We had an auditorium full. The RV thing, we had an auditorium full. But there might be somebody that can't be here without taking off or doing, but then on the other side of it, I've gotten some input from people. What about those people that work shift work, or people that's got young people, children, or, there's always two sides to the story. And the challenge on basically trying to get input.
You know what I think it is? I think it's, I want the availability if I want to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not that I want, but,
Yeah.
Well, should we at least move it to 5 or 5:30 then? That way we're trying?
Yeah, we could try it.
Trent moved theirs to 6 because of that same argument with somebody, and I haven't seen any increase of anybody
Well,
at the
let's
meetings.
try 5:30 and then we'll see.
Most people ain't interested in nothing unless it's in their backyard.
Yeah.
Other than that, they don't care.
Specific on something.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing
And they make a point to be here if it's in their backyard.
Yeah, we've changed is we've got the video people can watch. I know everybody doesn't get on the computer and do all that, but you can watch it. Yes, sir, you have some input. We appreciate your input.
I had talked to Sergeant Sanders, and one of our concerns is gonna be the security as well. I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but, Sergeant
got an
Sanders
email.
usually he takes his time from the courthouse to come over here. So if it's too late, you're looking at getting into some overtime. And, I would echo everything everybody else says. I'm all about transparency. I'm all about trying to get up here, but if somebody wants to be here quick enough, we've seen it, they'll show up. And, but that's y'all's decision.
Yeah.
But I would ask y'all to consider on how late it is for the security side, because we're gonna have somebody here, but a lot of counties don't, our size. It's gonna be a little bit of money on my side of it.
And I got an email from Sergeant Sanders, about,
We have similar concerns as well, having to pay additional staff time. And so I think it's definitely something we have to consider.
Do you want to try 5 o'clock
5 o'clock, yeah.
and see how it works
I think I would start at least at 5, that way there's not a 30-minute break between
Okay, 5
people
o'clock.
normally get off and they've got to come, at least you get over here at 4:30, you get prepared, you start at 5, and then, I mean, it's just a thought there.
So start at 5 o'clock?
Like you said, that's something, by the time certain, make it 6 o'clock or after.
You could leave one at 4 and one at 5, too, if you wanted to. That's up to y'all.
I wouldn't mind doing that, then it starts getting confusing.
Yeah, I would
Was
just
this
do
one
both.
4 or was this one,
I would just do
I'm
both
trying to
at 5.
remember what to do.
I talked with some counties today, and 2 counties I talked with, they have one that's around 10 o'clock in the morning, one of theirs is at 10 o'clock, and then the other one's at 5 in the afternoon, so that's.
Well, that's
and,
what we,
I
that's
asked
what we
them about
used to
their
do.
attendance, and they told me that if there's something on there that people want to be there for, it doesn't matter what time we have it, they're there. If there's not, then we don't really have anything.
Okay, we're going to try it 5 o'clock for a little while and see how it works. And if there's no difference, we might reevaluate that.
What date are we starting that on?
The next
August
regular
3rd?
meeting?
August 3rd.
August 3rd, well, the August 3rd one starts at 6, so it's already after 5.
No,
That's
just-
time
Yeah,
certain.
that's a time certain, but,
Okay.
so we'll start the meeting at 5, time certain at 6,
Okay.
and the workshop that day at 2. So that gives us another hour that we can do our workshop.
So we're gonna have a workshop at 2, we're gonna have a meeting that starts at 5, we're gonna have a time certain at 6.
Correct.
So August 3rd, we will,
Yeah, but are we gonna have a break though where we're not doing anything?
it's gonna have to be at least
We're
one
just gonna,
bathroom
we're
break.
gonna roll right in.
So we're gonna advertise that we're gonna start our meeting after the workshop? Can we advertise that way?
I
Like
mean,
we've done
that's
before?
up to the board, but,
That way, if we finish early, we can.
but we do have a time certain at 6, so,
Right.
I mean, you're gonna probably end up having to take a break at some point,
Okay.
because we're not, I mean, depending on what happens, I mean, never say never, but,
So workshop at 2.
Can you just send us a summary or,
we
get a
can,
summary
but
of
I
all
guess, just clarity though,
And a meeting that starts at 5.
are we gonna make this our first 5 o'clock meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
fine with me.
all right, so we'll workshop still at 2, 5 o'clock regular meeting, 6 o'clock time certain for property. All right, we'll send something out.
All right, and then the next thing we got to do is set tentative budget date hearing.
Yes, sir. So we need to go ahead and set our tentative budget hearing and our final budget hearing date. Based on our typical schedule, it would be Thursday, September 10th. And we can do 5:15 time certain or later at this point if we wanted to, because if we're starting at 5, that's up to the board.
So this Thursday, the 10th is what month?
September.
September, that's what I was fixing to say, all right.
Everybody okay with those dates and times?
Can we do that, like, in case somebody's getting off at 5, do it like at 5:30, those,
We can, normally we set it at 5:15 because we have a 4 o'clock meeting. We do our, regular meeting, and then we roll into the tentative at 5:15.
do the tentatives at 5:30?
So we could do 5:30.
Wait a minute, I got it.
Okay, everybody okay with that?
It's going to start at 5:30?
No, sir, the meeting starts at 5.
Yeah, so the regular meeting will be at
Okay.
5, but 5:30 will be a time certain for the
Okay.
tentative hearing. And then I'm assuming we'll do the same for the final.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Newton?
Gotcha.
Believe that is all. I did provide you budget books for you to.
What is this up here?
That's the audit.
Oh, that was odd.
Yeah. So you've got your budget books to review for Monday at 9 is our first budget hearing, budget workshop. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And
Okay.
we'd love to.
Anybody
discuss it.
from the public that is interested in the budget, we've got a summary of a budget workshop we did some time ago on the website. It's about 8 or 9 slides. It summarizes everything you want to know about the budget, where we get money, how we spend it. And so if you got any suggestions on those things, we appreciate the input. Anybody that's looking by video, we appreciate your input. Particularly with the discussion of property tax exemption, and as we begin to think about if that happens, what we will cut. And there's a lot of things that are required, and there's a small amount of things that are discretionary. And so figuring all that out is going to be a challenge. And we're talking the library or extension for veteran services, things that are discretionary versus, right now, our law enforcement, our fire rescue are our main priorities in our county budget. Then you got transportation, roads, and solid waste. Those are our top 4 priorities. And so we invite anybody interested to come to those. Yes, sir.
One other thing, we've got this in FYI, but just as a note, our meeting on July 20th has been canceled, our second July meeting. And again, we have the workshop this next Monday at 9 a.m. and then also Tuesday at 5 p.m.
Will y'all send us
budget
out,
workshops.
and let us know what we're gonna be, what
Discussing.
departments we're gonna
Yep.
look at
Yep.
on each of those days?
We have that already prepared. We'll send that out to you.
Thank you. That way we can look ahead of time in our book at the right ones.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we've got some, for your information, things on there I think we've already talked about those. So we're down to the commissioner reports. Ms. Langford?
Yeah, I had some complaints on Friday, because the 4th of July was on Saturday, and we were charging, passes were not working on the 3rd of July at Hart or Otter, and it was $8 instead of $5. Because right now, on weekends, it's $8, and on holidays, it's $8, and your pass don't work. But Friday was not the 4th of July, and we charged $8, and your pass did not work.
Okay.
Okay?
Since I've been here since 2012, that's just the way, if it was a holiday or the county was off, that's the way they've done it. We can do it however y'all would like to do it.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that in the future. I understand that we kind of took it as a whole big weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The whole thing was kind of celebrating. It was a big one because it was 250 years. You know, if the 4th fell on a Wednesday, then we might not charge on the Thursday because it's kind of the middle of the week and people are gonna go take their day off and then they gotta go back to work the next day.
But the last holiday we had, that Juneteenth, I mean, we were charging $8 and we were saying your pass weren't gonna work, you know, didn't work that day, but yet we worked. So it just needs to be, we need to be consistent. But something I noticed, is a concern, a safety concern, is, at Hart Springs, they are backed up on the highway. And then you have boats trying to get by to go to the boat ramp. There needs to be, in my opinion, there needs to be, there's 2 registers at that little, interest, that little, station where you pay at. Because, I know Friday I waited over 20 minutes, but about a month ago, I had a man that went to a, family reunion at Hart Springs and he waited an hour in line. So it's backed up and there's only one person taking up money. So I asked her and she said, well, there's only 1 register. Can we get 2 registers in there and have 2 people taking up money to get those cars off that highway?
You can, but let me just make a comment on what you just said. You want to cut our revenues on holidays, but you want us to add staff down there to get people in quicker, and we got to pay for that staff, so.
Well, you can use some of the staff you already had.
You also have to pay for so we have to pay per
Register costs
register.
extra, too.
I think it's like $275 a month that you pay per register, but.
You know,
I mean, I'm saying use the staff you already have because.
well, you can, but when you start spreading your staff too thin, then you're not getting something else done everywhere else. We don't have extra staff. We will run it however y'all want us to do,
It's just
but y'all want it to be profitable.
It's
You
the
want it to pay
it's
for
the
itself.
safety. Well, another thing is, you know, I left about 2:15 and a lot of people were gone, but yet people were still turning around because there was a sign up that said full capacity. So you had people turning around whenever you had a pile of people had already left.
Yeah, and we've
I don't
addressed that
understand
about,
that either.
we've addressed that about reopening as well too. When
So, I mean, that was, you know, Friday, you know, I left at 2:15 and there was a pile of people already gone. But yet people were turning around because there was a sign up.
When I went
still.
out Friday at 4 o'clock, the gates were open and you could drive in.
But this was about 2:15 that said full capacity.
Yeah.
So,
So Bobby, can y'all evaluate how, when there's real heavy traffic coming in, there's maybe a better way?
Yeah.
Yeah,
somehow we gotta get them off the highway.
yeah.
Because you have boats trying to go get to the boat ramp to put their boats in. It's just a safety, so, and people were turning around because they don't want to wait in line. That, you know, I saw people turning around because they didn't want to, you know, wait in line. So we're losing revenue by people turning around even.
If you make capacity, you didn't lose revenue because somebody left, because you still made capacity.
No, I'm talking about this was before the sign. This was trying to get in at 11 o'clock that morning. So, anyway, that's it.
That's all you have?
That's all I
All
have.
right. Mr. Martin?
Yeah, I had, first off, we had a very good, conference that we went to. Mr. Smith and Mr. Langford and I all attended. One of the workshops I attended was on, the data centers. It was very, very good workshop, very informative. I also went to another workshop on, the property tax amendment that's going down. I've had a lot of people comment on the chip and seal roads we put in, how they love the fact that the dust has been cut down and everything. They are asking that there be speed limits put up though, because now you get a nice road, everybody wants to go 50 miles an hour down it now, so they'd like to have their stop signs put back up, so that maybe people will slow down just a little bit. I had some people comment on how nice Hart Springs looks now that they put the bags down and are controlling the bank a little bit. I had people say that looks really nice. So a lot of positive comments about things that we're doing, and so everybody seems to be pretty happy. So that's it.
All right, Mr. Thomas?
My comment was on the riverbank stuff at the boat ramp. It turned out good, and I did ride part of the 10th, and it's real good. So,
Yeah, I had, somebody ask about speed limit on, Southwest 10th. So Bobby, as far as, we would need to consider that, and notice it like we've done before, or is it already posted? Do you know?
I think it was posted 35 previously, but we can look.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Ms. Sharon, do you remember what the 80ths are posted in your district? Are they 30 or?
30 or 35?
I can't remember. We might want to we'll look at all of those. We may want to drop them all to 30s.
Yeah, I think they all need to be
30 is what I heard requested for 10.
And I don't think there's any on 70th, and I don't know if there's any on.
No, it's such a short split there, no speed limit signs on it, never have been. It's really nice too, I use it a lot now, and, it's very nice.
So Bobby, the plan though is the company's gonna come back in a couple weeks and do the fog seal, or what is it?
If everything runs on time, they'll be here around somewhere between the 13th and 15th of this month. They'll actually re-sweep the roads. If there's any little spots that need to be touched up, they'll take care of that. Then they'll fog seal the roads.
So if there's a hole or something, they're gonna,
Yeah, they'll do touch up or whatever.
okay,
Mhm.
yeah. All right, anything else, Mr. Thomas? Nope, I didn't really have anything else other than the conference we attended. We're part of the Small County Coalition, 40-something counties, and represented in Tallahassee the interest for small counties. And as the sheriff is a part of the Sheriff's Association, hopefully those folks, and they do, I think, represent us well. So anyway, that's all I had. I think we're down to the last public comment time, and anybody want to provide some input? Come on. Yes, sir. All right.
Hey, you know, down at that conference, let me just enter. Somehow I missed Daryl. At every place I went, they said Daryl and Bill and Tommy had been there just ahead of me that whole time at the conference trade show and at 2 or 3 of the other places. We saw them when I finally caught up with them, but you'd already gone home the next day.
I had to
They
leave.
were going to a conference.
Yeah, it was a good conference.
It was a good conference.
Probably the most informative one I've been to.
Yeah, we had
Because it was topics right on top of what we're discussing
That's
right
right.
now, so.
That's right.
All right. James Shepherd.
I'm James Shepherd again. I seen we y'all's comment on that, water stuff earlier, which I read in his paper.
The what?
Water,
Water project.
yeah, about pumping that junk from Jacksonville out here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And, I rode on around Jacksonville the last month or so, from the south side all the way around the north side. They got plenty of flatwoods they can pump that water on to regenerate their own water. If that water's so good.
Yeah.
That got stopped though.
That got
Project
canned.
got
I know, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
anybody with boat or something like that, it's, you can't get that stuff out of that water, all of it, you know. But anyhow, I've noticed on how the water's been backflowing in the springs, pumping out, sucking it out of the river back through there. Also, I've noticed on 232 and 337, they're clearing a bunch of property there. And we all know who that is. And, is Swan River Waterman gonna give them irrigation well permits while we are at a deficit right now?
Yeah.
That we need to be cutting back on it. Or are they gonna issue them permits to draw more water out that's gonna make more people's well go dry?
We probably need to, James, get them to come and make a presentation on how they handle all that.
I mean, cause
Yep.
when is enough enough? After a while, it's gonna breathe. I mean,
Yeah.
call it what you want.
I don't know what their intentions are for that property right now.
They're clearing oak stump land, so they're not clearing that to plant hayfield on.
And this is on 337?
Yeah, Jackie Langford, Mr. Jackie's.
Yes.
Just south of Craig
Down
Watson.
yonder on the
there.
left, they clearing it all the way to the county
Oh,
line.
okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking of a
Okay.
different one.
Yeah, there's a big old chunk in there. And plus they clearing the airport there off 232.
Yes, I knew they were doing that part.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
we don't need no, we just had one bad summer, no rain. Just think we get two. Mama told me some of her friends' wells went dry. And I know what all them pivots will do, because when they put them in build pop pivots, that rock pit across from your road went 8 foot straight down when they fired them up. Mr. Al's well went dry. So, we just can't let the same bunch keep doing it. You count on one hand who's doing it. You just can't let them keep doing it.
We probably need to get somebody from the Water Management District to come and just make a presentation on how they handle that and how they restrict people.
The 5 people shouldn't take the water off of this Gilchrist County.
Yeah.
I mean, we farmed, we was growing up down there, all we had was 3 wells, we made a good living. My dad put $3 to college, he bought them all nice cars to go to college in. So, we walked out a bit of property, so I know you don't have to have just, it's greed, that's all it is. But you just can't keep, we have one of the best, cleanest water supplies in the country.
Yeah.
And we're messing it up.
Yep, we want to keep it and protect it, that's right.
And, how can the public find out? They should be able to find out from Swanner Waterman who's pulling all these permits, because one fella said that he's gonna start putting in the landowner's name, because he had so many in his name, because it looked bad.
Like I say, the Water Management District is charged by state law to allocate and permit and evaluate, and there's lots to it, I can tell you. Just a little bit I
Who should be
know.
liable
Yeah.
for messing up our water?
The state law should protect us. That's right. I agree with you. So,
If they passed up permits since last year, I think it's wrong, that's almost criminal. But, I mean, we're already bad as it is. And like I said, we got one more bad summer. And you don't want that river sucking back up through the aquifer.
no, we don't want to go dry, that's for sure. There's way more information about all that than I hear you. And I got the same concern, because we got kids and grandkids, and we want to protect it. And there's a lot of information there that we can't, no way we can cover it today.
Well, can Swanee River Water Management come and
Yeah,
answer
they
these
can
questions?
come and we can invite people to come and listen,
Get
and
these questions answered.
that's right.
And we can find out who's pivots. I mean, who's doing all this?
Yeah, all that should be public
It's public
information.
knowledge.
Yeah, it should be public information.
So, can a person do it, or we need to get an attorney to do it, or?
Yeah. The other thing is, I mean, you know, because you've been part of the agriculture family, and you know how important agriculture is to us and the jobs, and so I get that side of it too. And so,
I know when enough's enough.
yeah, you got to be able to evaluate it. So, thank you we appreciate you.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah,
Thank you, James. Good seeing you.
Yep.
yeah. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Bobby Schultz, I don't need anything, when it was my time to come speak, I should have spoke, but, I want to give the fire rescue, Gilchrist County Fire Rescue a lot of props. I hear it all the time about why does it take 2 or 3 deputies to go to certain calls, and at nauseum, I have to explain myself of why. And I'm going to assume that we hear about that too when it comes to fire rescue, but we've had 2 critical incidents, just that I pay attention to. There's a lot that I don't get to pay attention to, that if we didn't have, and it's probably going to tell me what they're called, brush trucks or the squad. They get there, most of them, if not all of them, are ALS certified. They're going to get there, they're going to stabilize something a lot faster than those big trucks can get there. And I know a lot of people don't see that, but if it was your loved one sitting there waiting for that ambulance to get there, when that F-250 can get there probably about 5 minutes, 8 minutes earlier when seconds matter. I know y'all hear about it, but to give you some ammunition may not be the right words, but certainly something to argue. I seen 2 this week. If they're not there, one, there's probably nothing they could have done, but they got there. Quite frankly, there's some other information they were able to provide that we wouldn't have had, law enforcement. And secondly, one, it saved a life, and I know it did, before an ambulance could get there.
Yeah, they can say, I mean, they're trained to save lives just like the pair of people on the EMS truck, and they can get there a lot faster.
But they're gonna have the means to take
They
care
can
of the
keep,
issue.
they can get them stable though.
I have heard that, I have defended it, and just like I believe that the fire rescue and y'all defend the law enforcement with why and well-being checks. We have to send 2 deputies at a time, because this is not Mayberry no more. But, I want to say they do a professional job, and we're very lucky to have, those services, and that we're blessed enough to be able to fund those things. We may not be able to afford 6 ambulance crews, which I know with probably what we need, to be honest with you, with the amount of people we have here, but those forward operational vehicles that go up front is invaluable. And I'm glad to know that if my 2-year-old is having a problem and there's one of them within driving range, they can get there in 10 minutes, 7 minutes, we're blessed. And so, anybody who wants to complain about that, you can send them my way. I'll be glad to explain to them for what that's worth. I want to make sure, Mr. Crosby, you explain that to your folks. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
There was
Sheriff.
a couple calls this weekend that was pretty rough.
Yeah. Anybody else in the public? Nope. I noticed we got somebody from Central Florida Electric here representing them, and we appreciate you being here and all the service that y'all provide to our county. You don't have anything, we appreciate you being here anyway, so thanks a lot. All right. You have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
A second? All right. Adjourn.